Tony Stark stares at the hologram of a cracking universe and knows something is wrong. The leftover energy of the Infinity Stones is bending space again, this time far beyond their own cosmos. He builds a new device, the reality anchor, to track and seal any tear before another Thanos-level war starts. When Doctor Strange joins him and opens a controlled portal to observe the anomaly safely, a violent surge of unknown energy slams into the anchor from the other side. In one blinding flash, Tony, Captain America, Thor, Hulk, Black Widow, Black Panther and Spider-Man are ripped out of their world and hurled into another, as alarms scream and the anchor's core cracks. They fall out of the sky over a shining, busy city that is not New York. Tony's HUD screams warnings. Not Earth, not our Earth. Different star map. Oxygen is fine. Gravity is fun, he mutters. Thrusters firing as he stabilizes and sweeps under a free-falling Steve Rogers. Thor streaks by with Stormbreaker in hand, cape whipping behind him. He grabs Black Widow with one arm and Black Panther with the other as they plunge. Hulk hits the ground first, because Hulk always hits the ground first, cratering a wide street and sending cars flying. Spider-Man skims past a neon sign, webs shooting out to catch a screaming family on a balcony. Okay, everybody, Avengers. Try not to get arrested, Steve says, landing hard with his shield up as more debris rains down. On a green lawn outside the city, Son Goku and Vegeta stop mid-spar. Goku's eyes go wide. Whis, did you feel that? He asks. A gentle voice answers from behind a staff. Yes, a strange energy. Not Kai, not Godki. Something else, Whis says, tilting his head. Beerus, god of destruction of Universe 7, lies on a deck chair, halfway through a pizza slice. His ears twitch. Whatever it is, it's loud, he growls, and it's annoying. He flicks the pizza away, stands, and points lazily. Goku, Vegeta, go see who is shaking my universe without permission. Back in the city, people run in all directions. A glowing crack still hangs in the sky where the Avengers fell through, spitting wild bolts of purple and white light. A blast hits the side of a skyscraper, and the top floors begin to tilt. Stark, Steve shouts. I see it, Tony says. Anchor core is bleeding into the air like a broken battery. He zips up, fires repulsor beams to push the falling piece of building back into place, then curses. His beams pass through the strange energy and scatter. Thor plants himself on a rooftop edge. Very well. You are not lightning, but you will listen to it, he says, raising Stormbreaker. Lightning roars from the clouds. It coils around the wild portal energy, pulling it into a tight, glowing knot above the city. Cars rattle. Glass shatters. People stare up in shock. Codex note. In this universe, the Avengers' energy signatures resonate with key fields, causing strange interference when they clash. On the street, Hulk slams his palms together, sending a shockwave that stops an overturned bus from crushing a group of kids. Black Widow and Black Panther sprint through the chaos, guiding people away from broken power lines and burning cars. Over here now, Natasha calls, waving children behind her as a fuel truck tips. T'Challa leaps, claws digging into metal, and uses his suit's kinetic charge to push the truck upright and safe. Spider-Man swings overhead, leaving web signs on walls. This way, follow the friendly neighborhood guy in red, he yells. A flash of blue light appears in front of them. Goku appears, instant transmission placing him in mid-air, orange G bright against the smoke. Vegeta lands beside him, arms folded, eyes narrowed. What the, who are you people? Vegeta demands. Tony hovers to their level. Hi, Tony Stark. We're lost, also saving lives, also trying not to die, he says. You. Goku grins. I'm Goku. That's Vegeta. Nice armor. Nice hammer. Strong aura. You're not from here. We noticed, Steve mutters on the ground. Another surge from the crack in the sky arcs downward. This time it aims straight at the city's energy grid. Wyas appears behind Goku and Vegeta with a soft chime. This is more than a simple disturbance, he says. Lord Beerus will be upset. Already am, Beerus says, appearing in the air with them, arms behind his back, tail flicking with annoyance. His yellow eyes fix on Tony's glowing chest and on the crack above. You brought this here, Beerus says. Explain. Long story, multiverse, broken rock gods, device, Tony says. Short story. That thing is our mess and we are trying to clean it. Beerus raises one clawed hand. Wait, Steve calls from below. We're not your enemy. Those people down there need help, and that tear will hurt both of our worlds if we don't shut it. Beerus squints at the humans and their strange gear. He looks at Goku, who scratches his head. They feel kind of like heroes, Goku says. Let them help, Lord Beerus. Then we can fight them later. Vegeta smirks. I like that part. Beerus sighs. Fine. Fix your hole, Stark, before I fix it by erasing you. Tony's mind races. The anchor core is on the other side, he says. But this leak is synced to my arc reactor. I can pull some of it back, but I'll need a lot of power. Thor grins. You have it. He slams Stormbreaker into the air again. Lightning pours into Tony's suit, overloading his systems. Warning, power at 200%, Friday says. Good. On 3, Tony says. Cap, I need you to throw. Steve does not ask what. He runs, tosses his shield toward the falling energy knot, and Tony grabs it mid-air. He channels the extra lightning and portal energy into the vibranium disc. The shield glows white hot as Tony hurls it through the crack. It cuts the wild energy like a blade, sealing most of the tear and shrinking it to a tight, trembling circle. The city stops shaking. The last blast fades. The Avengers land or hover in a rough circle. Goku, Vegeta, Beerus, and Whis float above them. People begin to peek out from cover. Spider-Man looks up, mask half torn. So, anyone else feel like we just crashed a very weird party? He says. Bulma arrives in a flying capsule corp ship, blue hair streaming behind her. She lands near Steve and jumps out. Goku, Vegeta. What happened? And who are these people in cosplay? She asks, eyes going straight to Tony's armor. Cosplay, Tony mutters. I am offended and also a little flattered. Up to now, the Avengers have survived a broken multiverse and stopped a city disaster in a new world. But they have no idea how deep its rules go, or how much their arrival will cost. Bulma walks up to Tony and pokes his suit. This tech is crazy. I've never seen metal like that. And that chess piece is reacting to Kai, she says. I'm Bulma. I fix stupid cosmic problems for idiots who punch too hard. Tony Stark. I cause stupid cosmic problems and then feel bad about it, Tony answers. Steve steps forward, shield on his arm. Captain Steve Rogers. We are called the Avengers. We protect our world, he says. Looks like we may have endangered yours. Beerus lands gently, arm still behind his back. You have not endangered only this world, he says. You have shaken Universe 7, and the king of all universes does not like his toys shaken without his hand on them. King of all, Natasha asks softly. Wise smiles. His name is Zeno. He can erase whole universes with a thought, and he enjoys watching fights. Hulk snorts. Hulk not toy. Beerus looks at Hulk with mild interest. That one is loud. I like him, he says. But here, Even loud things are dust if Zeno is bored. Tony glances up at the small, still flickering circle of the torn portal. Inside, he sees sparks of his lab, then nothing. The anchor is locked on our end, he says. If we don't fix this from here, my world stays open to whatever pushed through. And if we do nothing, this crack keeps draining both universes. Bulma folds her arms, thinking fast. If your gizmo is linked to this tear and to your arc thing, we might be able to build a new interface on our side, she says. But I'll need time, and I'll need you. Tony nods. Then we have a plan. Beerus yawns. Your plan may have to hurry, he says. A small clear cube appears in Weiss's hand, glowing with a soft, multicolored light. He taps it, and a tiny, childlike voice echoes in the air. Beerus, are you having a party without me? Zeno says. I felt a new power. You have new friends. I want to see them fight. Beerus goes pale. No, great Zeno. It's not a party, he says quickly. Just a small accident. Zeno's happy tone turns curious. A fun accident. Whis looks at Beerus with a calm, warning smile. Lord Beerus, perhaps you should be honest. The Grand Priest will know anyway. Beerus glares, then sighs. Yes, a fun accident, he says through clenched teeth. New fighters fell into our universe. They helped stop a disaster. They say they protect their world. Zeno giggles. Then they can fight to protect your world too. Ours. All of them. Grand Priest. The air shimmers. A tall, elegant figure appears in a column of light. The Grand Priest, staff in hand, eyes calm and unreadable. Lord Zeno has been thinking of a new tournament of power, he says. The balance of universes must be tested again, and this breach of yours, Lord Beerus, has given us a new idea. He looks down at the Avengers. Foreign warriors, he says. Universe 7 has imported outside strength. This is against the natural order. It is also interesting. Tony shifts his weight. Interesting, bad, or interesting, we don't get erased, he asks. In the next tournament, the Grand Priest says, universes may use fighters from beyond their borders if they dare. But if their universe loses, the foreign warrior's home reality will also be erased. Their risk, their choice. Steve feels the ground tilt again, this time only in his mind. If we fight for you and fail, our whole Earth dies with your universe, he says. In simple terms, yes, the Grand Priest says. Refuse, and the tear between your worlds will be left to unravel on its own. Sooner or later, one or both will collapse anyway. Goku looks at Steve. You guys like to protect people, right? He asks. So do we. If we enter, we protect everyone, all the universes, including yours. Thor meets Goku's eager gaze. Where I come from, we do not walk away from realms in need, he says. If war comes, we answer. Steve looks around at his team. Natasha's eyes are calm but set. T'Challa's jaw is firm, his mind already weighing costs. Hulk cracks his knuckles. Spider-Man looks terrified, but he nods. Tony's shoulders sag inside the armor. Every time I try to fix something small, I end up signing us up for a bigger mess, he says. Fine, we fight. But we do it our way. We don't erase people if we can help it. The Grand Priest inclines his head. The rules of the Tournament of Power remain, he says. No killing. Ring-outs only. Last universe standing survives. Prepare your teams. Your worlds are now tied. The light fades. Only the small, tight crack in the sky and the shaken city remain. Steve exhales slowly. Up to now, we have tried to stop the crack and learn the rules of this place, he thinks. Now the rules are set. Fight for everyone or lose everything. Bulma claps her hands, breaking the heavy silence. Okay then, she says. Welcome to Universe 7. Let's get you some gear that won't explode the first time Goku sneezes. Days later, the sky over Capsule Corp is clear, but the weight over it is not. Training grounds stretch behind the white dome buildings. Goku and Vegeta trade blows in one corner, their fists ringing like small explosions. In another, Thor swings Stormbreaker again and again, each strike sending ripples of Kai-touched air through the yard as Whis watches with mild interest. "Lean into the flow, Lord Thor," Whis says. "Your power is great, but Ki requires harmony, not only force." Thor grunts, feeling the strange energy wrap around his axe. "It is like the storm listens back," he says. "I can live with that." Steve stands on a stone platform across from Gohan, who is in his orange gi and glasses. They trade shield strikes and palm blocks. "You move like a martial artist and a soldier," Gohan says, breathing a little hard. "Your shield feels like a ki barrier, but it's metal." "Vibranium," Steve says. "Strongest metal on my Earth. I don't have your blasts, but I've learned to trust this and my team." Black Widow spars with Android 18. Natasha moves in close, testing pressure points, while 18 blocks with inhuman calm and adjusted power. "You're human," 18 says. "No ki tricks. Why are you here?" Natasha ducks a blow, slides under, and taps 18's knee joint, testing. "Because someone has to make sure the gods don't turn this into a game with people's lives as pieces," she says. "And because I'm very hard to kill, even without Kai." Black Panther fights side by side with Piccolo, testing their speed. Piccolo stretches his arms, trying to grab T'Challa, but the Wakandan King's suit flares purple and redirects the pull. "You use stored energy the way we use ki reserves," Piccolo notes. "If you tap into our world's forces, your suit will change." "I only borrow power from my people with their blessing," T'Challa says. "If I borrow from your world, it must also be with respect." Spider-Man swings between practice pillars, dodging beams from Krillin and Tien. Sorry, Peter yelps, as a beam clips his shoulder, the sting shocking him. "You guys shoot lasers from your hands. That seems unfair." "They are Kai blasts," Krillin says, laughing. "And you stick to walls. That seems unfair." From a balcony, Bulma, Tony, and Bruce Banner stand over a table full of glowing parts. A model of the reality anchor's core sits in the center, its cracked crystal pulsing softly. "This thing is still linked to your arc reactor," Bulma says, pointing at Tony's chest, "and to that tear over the city. So if I overload, it overloads," Tony says. "If it blows, we probably get our atoms spread across 10 universes." Bruce rubs his eyes. "Feels like old times," he says. Banner builds Gamma Bomb. World almost ends. Tony builds Anchor. Multiverse almost ends. "We're not going to blow anything unless we want to," Bulma says. "I've already built a dampener. It will keep the leaks slow while we focus on the tournament. But it also means you are now plugged into this universe." Tony frowns. "In what way?" "In the way that your body and this world now share energy," Bulma says. "Every time you fire a big blast, it will tug at the crack. The more you fight, the more the universes lean on each other. We can use that later to close it, but it will cost you." Tony looks out at his team in training. "Story of my life," he says. "Power now, bill later." Codex note: the cracked reality anchor has formed a bond between Tony Stark's arc reactor and Universe 7's ki field, making every high-output attack a small shift in the multiversal balance. Weches floats up to join them. "The Grand Priest has set the date for a small exhibition match before the true tournament," he says. "A chance for Zeno to enjoy his new fighters. and for the universes to measure each other. Bruce blinks. Exhibition match, like a warm-up fight, he says. More like a job interview where the boss can erase you, Tony says. Wise smiles. Universe 9 will bring some of their warriors. Universe 7 will bring yours. Lord Zeno wants to see how foreign powers mix with native ki. Goku lands beside them, sweat on his brow, grin wide. Great, I get to fight new guys, he says. And you get to fight new guys. Everybody wins. Steve steps up. Everyone doesn't win, he says. Someone loses. Someone always loses. If this exhibition is the first step, we need to know the rules. Whis nods. Simple. Same as the Tournament of Power. No killing. No weapons that directly harm souls or erase existence. Ring outs only. If you are knocked out of the arena, you lose. If your team loses badly, your universe looks weak. Thor rests Stormbreaker on his shoulder. And if this king of all grows bored, he asks. Whis's eyes dim a little. Then things vanish, he says. Steve looks at his team and at the Z fighters. We're going to fight in front of a god who erases whole universes for fun, he says. But we have stood in front of madmen with stones that wipe out half of all life. We did not break then. We won't break now. Goku nods, eyes shining. That's the spirit, he says. Let's get stronger together. I want to see how far you can go. The world of Void is endless, white and empty. In its center, a small arena floats like a toy on a table. Around it, rows of stands hang in the air where gods, angels and fighters sit and watch. The two Xenos sit side by side on their thrones, feet kicking. They lean forward, eyes locked on the arena. New people, future Xeno says, pointing at the Avengers as they step onto the stage with Goku, Vegeta, Gohan, Piccolo, Android 18 and Krillin. Shiny armor, present Xeno says. Cape, hammer, spider. Tony's HUD shows numbers he does not understand. Friday. Give me Kai readings, he whispers. Translating as we go, boss, Friday says. These fighters are off the charts, and that purple cat god could delete our credit scores from here. Steve stands beside him, shield on his arm. He looks small next to Broly-level power, but his eyes are steady. Across the arena, fighters from Universe 9 step up. Basil the Kicker, Lavender the Poison, and Bergamo the Crusher, the trio of danger. Wolves enclosed with hungry eyes. Their god of destruction, Sidra, sits in the stands, nervous. His supreme Kai, Ro, smirks. These outsiders will panic under true pressure, Ro says. Universe 7's trust in aliens will damn them. On the Universe 11 side, the Pride Troopers watch. Toppo, with his big mustache and hero pose, studies Steve and Tony. Justice must come from within the universe, he says. Borrowed power is suspect. Behind him, Jiren sits in silence, eyes closed, but his attention brushes over the newcomers like a storm. The Grand Priest floats into the center of the arena. Exhibition matches will begin, he says. First, Universe 7's Spider-Man versus Universe 9's Lavender. Peter's stomach drops. Wait, me first, he squeaks. Tony claps him on the shoulder. Kid, you've swung between alien warships. You've fought a purple titan. You can handle a wolf, he says. Remember, ring out. Watch for tricks. Gohan steps closer. I'll help you read his ki, he says. Stay light. Trust your senses. Peter walks to the center, mask on, hands shaking a little. Lavender pads forward, purple eyes half closed. So small, Lavender says. So nervous. You smell like fear and different stars. You smell like someone who skips showers, Peter says, voice cracking. The Grand Priest drops his hand. Begin. Lavender moves in a blur, throwing a cloud of invisible poison. Peter's spider sense screams. He flips up, webbing the air where Lavender was. The poison cloud hits empty space and drifts toward the ring's edge. Peter shoots a web to the floor, swings and yanks himself back, keeping his distance. Okay, he mutters. Guy throws poison mist. Don't breathe, don't die. Gohan calls out from the side. Spider-Man, use your webs to steer the gas, he shouts. Peter's eyes widen. He shoots thin lines into the cloud, tugs, and whips it back toward Lavender. Lavender laughs and flips back, but some of his own poison brushes his arm. He winces. His ki flickers. Peter dives in with a kick, catching Lavender in the chest. The wolf staggers toward the edge. Lavender snarls, claws flashing. He slashes Peter's leg. Pain burns, and Peter feels his limb go numb. Poison, he gasps. Stay moving, Gohan yells. Peter forces himself to swing with one good leg, firing webs like crazy. He wraps Lavender's arms, legs, and tail. Sorry about this, he yells, then yanks hard. Lavender, tied in webs, flies off the edge of the arena, spinning. Ring out, Universe 7 wins, the Grand Priest says. The Zenas clap, delighted. Spider wins, Future Zeno says. Sticky Man is fun. Peter collapses to one knee as the poison spreads. Healing hands are suddenly on him. Gohan presses a glowing palm to his leg. This is my healing key, Gohan says. I can't fix everything, but I can slow the poison. Peter's eyes clear. He looks at the stands, at universes watching. I just fought for all of them, he thinks, and if I mess up later, they all die. No pressure. Next, Captain America steps forward. Across from him, Basil the Kicker cracks his neck. Human against human, Rose sneers. This will be quick. Steve rolls his shoulders. Name, he calls. Basil, the wolf says. I break bones. Steve Rogers, Steve says. I get back up. The Grand Priest drops his hand again. Basil surges forward, legs glowing with Kai. His first kick slams into Steve's shield, lifting him off his feet and sliding him backward. The impact rattles Steve's bones, but the shield holds. Strong, Basil says, but you'll run out of air. He unleashes a flurry of kicks, faster than bullets. Steve's eyes track as best he can. Decades of training guide his arms. Block, slide, step, pivot. Each kick hits steel and vibranium. Steve gives ground, but he watches Basil's rhythm. There, he thinks. At the peak of one spin, Basil's foot hangs a fraction longer. Steve ducks under, rolls, and slams his shield into Basil's planted leg. The wolf howls as his balance breaks. Steve follows up with a shield bash to the chest. Basil stumbles toward the edge. He roars, gathers ki into one giant kick, and charges. Steve raises his shield. The blow hits like a truck. The shield glows. Steve grits his teeth and pushes back. For a moment, they are locked. Then vibranium hums with stored force. Steve angles the shield and releases. The energy shunts sideways. Basil flies over the edge. Ring out. Universe 7 wins, the Grand Priest says. Topo watches, frowning. He turned defense into offense, Topo says. A path of justice, but foreign. Tony steps to the side of the ring and glances at Beerus. So far, your new imports are not dead, he says. Beerus sniffs. Do not get smug yet, he says. The last match will decide how the other universes see you. The final exhibition is Bergamo the Crusher versus Black Panther. Bergamo steps into the ring, tall and calm, cloak fluttering. I am Bergamo, he says. My power grows when my foes strike me. T'Challa looks at him through his mask. I am T'Challa, king of Wakanda, he says. My suit stores and redirects force. This may be a problem for both of us. The Xenos lean forward. 2 grown men, President Xeno says. 2 energy clothes. The Grand Priest smiles slightly. Begin. Bergamo spreads his arms. "Hit me," he says. "Give me your best shot. Let your pride doom you." T'Challa does not move. Instead, he circles, watching the wolf's aura. Piccolo calls from the side. He absorbs what hits him, he shouts. "If you strike too hard, he will crush you." T'Challa remembers the battle against Killmonger, against Thanos' army, against those who twisted power for ego. "Then we do not feed his pride," he says. He darts in with light taps, testing. Each time, his suit drinks the impact and shines brighter. Bergamo frowns. "Are you toying with me?" he growls. "Fight seriously." "You wish me to strike without thought," T'Challa says. "I have done that before. It cost my people." He lets Bergamo hit him. Each punch builds kinetic charge in the suit. The purple glow grows. Bergamo laughs. "Your energy flows into me," he says. "Soon, I will tower over you." T'Challa's eyes narrow. "No, you forget one thing," he says softly. "I choose where to release this power." He leaps back to the center of the arena, stance low. "Come," he says. Bergamo roars and lunges. T'Challa slams his palms into the ground, releasing all his stored energy downward. The arena floor buckles, and a wave of force surges up, not at Bergamo's body, but at his feet. The shock unroots him. He loses contact long enough for his balance and ki flow to break. T'Challa uses the same shockwave to catapult himself forward, shoulder-checking Bergamo with just enough force to send him stumbling backward, not with a hard strike, but with controlled push. Bergamo pinwheels. He falls, clawing at the edge, and drops out of the ring. Ring out. Universe 7 wins all bouts, the Grand Priest announces. Zeno claps so hard he almost falls out of his throne. "New fighters are fun," he says. "I want them in the real tournament." Across the stands, gods whisper. Some look worried, some look angry. Topo stands, fists on his hips. "These off-worlders risk upsetting the proper order," he says. "Universe 11 must be ready." Ro, Universe 9's Supreme Kai, snarls. "Universe 7 cheats with aliens," he says. "We will see how the Grand Priest allows this insult." Up to now, the Avengers have shown they can stand in this world's arena. But their wins have drawn eyes, envy, and fear from universes that see them as unfair weapons. After the exhibition, the fighters return to Capsule Corp. Night falls. The stars of Universe 7 burn different, but the feeling is the same. Small lives under big forces. On the rooftop, Steve and Goku sit side by side, legs over the edge. "You fight to get stronger," Steve says, "always chasing the next wall." Goku nods. "Yeah," he says, "I love testing my limits, meeting new strong guys, but I also fight to keep my family safe. Chi-Chi, Gohan, Goten, my friends. That's why this tournament matters." Steve looks at his shield. "Back home, I fight because someone has to stand between people and bullies," he says. "Cosmic bullies, Earth bullies, doesn't matter. But here, the bully erases whole universes because he is bored." Goku's smile fades a little. "Zeno is different," he says. "He is not evil. He is like a child with big power. We are his friends. We try to guide him with fun fights instead of destruction." Steve shakes his head. "Where I come from, we lock away people who can hurt others like that," he says. "Here, you invite him to games." Goku shrugs. "It's the world I have," he says simply. "So I do what I can inside it." Steve thinks of Sokovia, of accords, of signed papers and broken trust. "You ever think of saying no?" he asks. "Of walking away from a system you know is wrong?" Goku looks at him with clear eyes. "I don't know how to change the system," Goku says, "but I know how to keep people alive inside it. Sometimes that's the first step." Steve nods slowly. He remembers signing nothing and still being blamed. He remembers signing and still being hunted. Maybe we're not so different, he says. Elsewhere, Tony, Bulmer, and Whis examine a new problem. The reality anchor core pulses brighter. After that exhibition, its output went up, Bruce says. It's feeding off the energy in the world of void. Bulmer taps a screen. And your arc reactor, Tony, she says. Your heart piece is now syncing with the multiverse like it did with that arena. Next time, the surge will be higher. Wiss's eyes narrow. The Grand Priest has noticed this, I'm sure, he says. He will adjust the true tournament rules to test this foreign bond. Tony massages his forehead. So our big flashy moves make the crack worse, he says. But if we hold back, we lose the tournament and everything anyway. Whis nods. Exactly, he says. You are now a variable in the cosmic equation. In a quiet, far-off space, the Grand Priest meets with the gods. Holograms of the universes spin slowly around them. These Avengers stand between mortal and God, one angel says. Technology and foreign energy. They could spread if left unchecked. Or they could be wiped out in one tournament, another replies. The Grand Priest raises his staff. The rules will be changed, he says. Foreign fighters may use their technology, but the arena will dampen all artificial energy by half. Only what blends with ki will reach full strength. He touches the air. A model of the new arena appears, its floor etched with complex symbols. They will have to adapt, he says, as will their foes. Back on Earth, Topo and Jiren train under their own sky. Topo punches through mountains, his aura flaring with justice power. Jiren stands still, eyes closed. Those outsiders, Topo says, they fight with honor, but not our code. They answer to no god. They must be tested. Jiren opens his eyes. It does not matter where power comes from, he says. If it threatens peace, it will fall. His gaze, unseen by them, reaches across universes. In the arena, I will see what these Avengers are made of, he thinks, and I will break them if I must. Power scaling interlude. Whis explains in his notes that while the Avengers are strong among mortals, their raw power is below gods of destruction and top fighters like Goku, Vegeta, and Jiren. Their tech can be dampened by divine rules. Their bodies can still be broken by ki that bypasses armor. And their best chance is to blend foreign science with training in ki, at the cost of time, health, and further straining the unstable bond between their universe and Universe 7. Up to now, early wins in the exhibition have shown the Avengers can fight and adapt. But now the whole multiverse is adjusting to them, setting new rules and counters. The board is reacting to their presence, not just to the old powers. Up to now, the Avengers have learned what ki is, fought an exhibition in front of Zeno, and seen the multiverse react to them with new rules and fear. Now the real weight of those rules starts to press down. Weeks pass. The crack above West City is no longer a thin circle. It has widened into a glowing scar, faint but clear even in daylight. People learn to ignore it the way they ignore far-off storms, but Tony, Bulmer, and Bruce watch it every day. The leak is faster, Bruce says, pointing to a graph. Our dampener is losing ground. Tony rubs his tired eyes. I can add more regulator rings, he says, but every layer we add slows my own reactor more. At some point, I won't be able to power the suit. Bulmer shakes her head. You're not listening, she says. We're not putting more shields on a broken pipe. We need to close the pipe. Whis appears beside them, staff glowing. The Grand Priest has finished designing the new arena, he says. The tournament of power will begin soon, and our little crack has become an official concern. Tony looks up at the glowing scar. Official how? he asks. Whis touches the staff, and a vision opens in the air. They see the Grand Priest standing in the world of void, talking to a circle of gods of destruction. Berus, Shampa, Belmod, Sidra, and the others float, listening. The instability between Universe 7 and the foreign reality must be addressed, the Grand Priest says. If left alone, it may pull other universes out of balance. Zeno-sama finds this messy. Belmod, the clown-like god of destruction from Universe 11, smiles thinly. So Universe 7 broke the rules and now everyone pays, he says. How very like Berus. Berus bristles. I did not invite them, he snaps. They fell through a crack made by their own foolishness. And yet you use them, Topo says from behind his god. These Avengers give your universe an unfair edge. The Grand Priest raises a hand. In the tournament, all universes may recruit foreign fighters if they can, he says. But know this, if Universe 7 falls, the foreign Earth tied to the crack will vanish as well. The bond goes both ways. Berus's eyes widen. You did not say that before, he says. I say it now, the Grand Priest replies. Let the risk sharpen your focus. The vision fades. Tony stands very still. So if you lose, my world dies, he says. If we lose, my world dies. If we do nothing, the crack eats both over time. Bulma sighs. Seems we're out of easy options, she says. Welcome to my life with Goku. On an open grass field, far from any city, Goku and Vegeta train harder than ever. Goku pushes into Super Saiyan Blue. Vegeta pushes into his own blue form, aura roaring. Across from them, Thor stands with Stormbreaker, lightning dancing in his eyes, trying to catch their movements. Steve, Black Widow and T'Challa run drills with Gohan, Piccolo and Android 17. Hulk and Broly face off in another corner. Yes, Broly. He roars, green energy flaring around him as Hulk smashes a fist into the ground. Smash, Hulk yells. Rah, Broly answers. Each blow they trade sends waves of wind rolling over the field. Whis hovers overhead, smiling. These two were born to break mountains, he says. Bruce peeks out from behind a rock, glasses askew. I really hate it when I see my own face like that, he mutters. Vegeta glances at Thor between clashes with Goku. You hold back, Vegeta says. You're a god who fears his own power. Thor grits his teeth. I have known what happens when I cut loose, he says, thinking of Hela, of Asgard's ruin. Worlds burn. I would rather be careful. Vegeta scoffs. If you fear the storm, you drown in the rain, he says. Power must bow to pride, not guilt. Goku, hearing, grins. Hey Thor, you like fighting strong guys, he says. Because I really want to see you go all out. Not just for the tournament, for fun. Thor's lips twitch despite himself. Man of Kakarot, he says. You speak Odin's tongue without knowing. Very well. Come then. Let us see if your god key can match the storm of a prince of Asgard. They clash, blue aura against roaring lightning. From a distance, Steve watches, jaw tight. Natasha stands beside him, arms folded. You're worrying again, she says. I'm thinking, he says, about rules, about lines. She waits. Back home, after Sokovia, the world tried to put us on a leash, he says. Some of that was fear. Some of that was right. Now we stand in front of gods who erase universes for fun and call us unfair for breathing. Natasha nods. We've seen this pattern before, she says. The powerful break things. The powerless pay. We stand in the middle. Steve watches Hulk and Broly tear up the ground. I don't like being used as a piece on someone else's board, he says. But if stepping onto the board keeps it from flipping, maybe that's the job. She gives him a small smile. Welcome back, Captain, she says. Later, in Capsule Corp's main room, a group gathers. Goku, Vegeta, Gohan, Piccolo, Android 17, Android 18, Krillin, Master Roshi, Tien, Frieza in his golden form, and the Avengers. Frieza's golden aura glows softly. He smiles with sharp, cold joy. "Ah, so these are the famous heroes from another universe," Frieza says. "I have heard you fight tyrants. How charming." Steve stiffens. "This is Frieza," he asks. "The one who destroyed planets, killed billions, tried to kill you all." "Yes," Goku says. "We need him. He's strong." Frieza laughs. "Your faces are perfect," he says to the Avengers. "Moral shock, disgust. You could be in my own little opera." Black Panther steps forward, eyes narrow. "In my world, we do not arm monsters who slaughter worlds," T'Challa says. "We lock them away, or we end them." Frieza tilts his head. "And yet here you stand under gods who erase universes," he says. "Tell me, little king, which is worse, a devil with sharp claws, or a child with a button that ends all things?" The room goes quiet. Goku scratches his cheek. "Look, I don't like what Frieza did," he says, "but we are short on time. We need the strongest fighters. If we don't use every edge, we all vanish." Steve steps closer to Goku. "You tried this once with a murderer on your team?" he asks. Gohan nods. "We have taken help from dangerous people before," he says. "Sometimes it worked out. Sometimes it hurt us. But I'm not sure we can win without him." Natasha looks at Frieza the way she once looked at Loki. "You will betray us if it suits you," she says. "You will hurt anyone to escape." Frieza smiles wider. "Of course I will," he says. "But I do enjoy a good show. And if your performance shines, I may delay your doom. That is the best you can hope for." Steve looks at Beerus. "You are the god of destruction here," he says. "Do you trust this ally?" Beerus shrugs. "I trust that if Frieza causes trouble, I will erase him," he says. "That is enough." Steve's jaw tightens. On one side, gods accept a devil for strength. On the other, mortals with a broken universe chain cling to any chance. "We're repeating our own mistakes," Steve thinks. "We made deals with weapons we couldn't control. We lost friends for it. Are we going to do it again?" He looks at Tony, at Bruce, at Thor. "We need a different plan," he says. That night, Steve calls a meeting on the Capsule Corp roof. Only the Avengers and a few close allies join. Gohan, Piccolo, and Android 17. Stars shine above. The crack glows faintly near the edge of sight. "We need to talk about who we fight for," Steve says. "Because right now, it feels like we stand for Xenos. Game, not for people." Tony leans on the railing. "If we walk, the crack eats both worlds," he says. "If we fight and lose, Xeno erases both. If we fight and win, he keeps his game and learns he can drag in other universes for fun. Not a great list." Bruce nods. "This is like working for Ross all over again," he says. "Except this guy has no oversight and can delete reality." Gohan looks down at his hands. "My family lives in this system," he says. "I can't tear it down, but I can fight to keep them alive." Piccolo crosses his arms. "The system is too big to break," he says. "But it can be bent. Rules can be twisted." Android 17, who once protected his island and its animals from poachers, speaks. "Xeno likes games," he says. "If we want change, we have to change the game from inside it. That means we need a plan that uses the tournament rules, but does not worship them." Steve meets his eyes. "You're saying we should win," he says, "and then ask for something other than simple survival." Tony straightens. "We've seen this before," he says. "People with power only listen when they need something. Xeno needs entertainment. We give him the best show in history, then we cash that chip." Thor nods slowly. "We buy mercy with glory," he says. It is not worthy of Asgard, but my people are gone. The worlds we have now must count for something. Steve looks at each of them. So here is what I want, he says. We fight in this tournament. We fight to win. But if we do, we ask for 3 things. 1, that no universe is erased in this game. 2, that the crack is healed. 3, that our Earth is let go free of this chain. Gohan blinks. He might say no, he says. Steve nods. He might, he says. But if we never ask, we become part of the problem. Tony smirks. I like it, he says. Aim high. Risk everything. Classic Steve. He looks at the crack. But there's one more thing, Tony says. We need a backup way to close that tear even if Zeno refuses. Because I don't trust a god who plays with worlds. Bruce sighs. What's your idea? He asks. Tony hesitates. We overload the anchor on purpose, he says. We use its bond to both universes. If we push enough energy through in the right way, we might be able to fuse the edges of the crack. Like welding. Bruce stares at him. You're talking about turning yourself into a bomb, he says. Maybe more like a bridge, Tony says. But yeah, it could kill me. It could do worse. Steve steps closer. No, he says. We are not planning your death as plan B. Tony meets his eyes. Cap, you know how this goes, he says quietly. If there's a chance to save everyone by risking one person, we both know what we do. It's just usually you who jumps on the grenade. Steve's jaw tightens. I jumped on a grenade because I thought it was the only choice, he says. I don't accept only so easily now. Piccolo listens, then speaks. There may be a way to spread the cost, he says. Fusion. Key links. In this universe, we can merge power, share burdens. If we must weld the crack, we may not have to send one man alone. Tony raises an eyebrow. Fusion. Like that dance Goten and Trunks do, he says. Or those earrings. Gohan nods. It's not simple, he says. But if we can link your arc reactor to another source of stable ki, the energy might be shared. Thor taps Stormbreaker's handle. My weapon can channel the Bifrost, he says. It once tore through space and worlds. Perhaps it can also close a wound. Up to now, the Avengers have accepted the tournament as their only road. Now they begin to aim higher, to twist its rules and seek a way to change the game itself, even if it means sharing deadly costs. The day before the tournament, the sky darkens over Universe 7. Clouds swirl around the crack. Thunder rolls. On a high, empty plateau, the gods of destruction from all universes gather with their angels. The Avengers and Z-Fighters stand at the center. The Grand Priest appears above them, staff glowing. Before battle, we must confirm what is at stake, he says. The rules of the Tournament of Power are simple. All universes present are in danger. Those who lose will be erased. But now, an extra thread exists. He points at Tony. Your foreign Earth has tied itself to Universe 7, he says. Should Universe 7 fall, your reality falls with it. Should it survive, and should Zeno permit, the bond may be undone. Zeno waves from a far-off floating platform. I want a good show, Zeno calls. Lots of cool moves, lots of teamwork, no boring bits. The Grand Priest turns back. Fighters may use ki, natural abilities, and tools that do not erase souls, he says. However, to maintain fairness, artificial energy sources will be dampened inside the arena. Technology that does not blend with Kai will lose half its power. Tony winces. Half, he thinks. He's nerfing me, Bruce mutters. There it is, he says. The multiverse patch notes. Belmod smiles at Topo. This should help our pride troopers, he says. Justice powered by pure ki will shine. Beerus clicks his tongue. Always meddling, he mutters. The Grand Priest is not finished. Additionally, he says, any attempt to use the foreign device, your reality anchor, during the tournament to affect space outside the arena will be considered rule-breaking interference. The punishment will be immediate erasure of the user's universe. Tony's heart stops for a second. So if I try to weld the crack during the fight, I kill everyone, he says softly. Whis leans close. There will be other moments, Whis whispers. He said, during the tournament. Time exists before and after. Steve notes that word. After. We win first, Steve thinks. Then we take our shot. Codex note. The Grand Priest's adjustments enforce that Tony Stark's tech is weakened in the arena, and that any direct use of the reality anchor during combat would trigger cosmic erasure, turning it from a weapon into a forbidden trump card that can only be played outside the match itself. The world of void grows louder as the day of the tournament arrives. Light fills the empty expanse. The new arena hangs like a stone flower, petals of fighting platforms around a central ring. Fighters from 8 universes appear in bursts of light. Universe 2's magical warriors, Universe 6's scions and assassins, Universe 11's pride troopers, and more. The Avengers step onto Universe 7's platform with the Z fighters. Tony's armor feels heavier. His HUD shows his reactor straining to punch through the dampening field. Feels like moving in mud, he mutters. Kai flows fine, Goku says, bouncing on his feet. You'll get used to it. Steve rolls his shoulders, shield firm. He surveys the enemy platforms. On Universe 11's, he sees Toppo and Jiren. Toppo stands tall, arms crossed, cape fluttering. Jiren sits, eyes closed, muscles coiled. On Universe 6's platform, Hit the Assassin stands quiet, hands in pockets, eyes half-lidded. Near him, Caulifla and Kale, 2 female scions, argue and grin. On Universe 9's battered platform, the trio of danger glare at the Avengers with fresh hatred. Above all, the 2 Xenos wiggle in their thrones. The main event begins, present Xeno says. The big fight, future Xeno echoes. The Grand Priest raises his staff. The tournament of power begins, he says. A bell chimes. Time seems to slow. Then everyone moves at once. The arena explodes into chaos. Fighters dash, fly, and blast key. The floor cracks under shockwaves. Formation, Steve yells. The Avengers move as a unit. Steve and Black Panther take the front, shields up. Black Widow slips into shadow. Spider-Man swings overhead. Thor and Hulk hold the flanks. Tony hovers above, repulsors adjusting to the dampener. Goku, Vegeta, Gohan, Piccolo, 17, 18, Krillin, Roshi, Tien, and Frieza spread out to handle their own targets. Universe 9's fighters swarm. Bergamo leads the charge, wolves at his side. You embarrassed us in the exhibition, he snarls. Now your universe pays. He leaps at T'Challa. T'Challa meets him head on. No more tests, T'Challa says. This time I know your trick. Their clash is fierce, but it is only one small part of the storm. Universe 2's warriors fire hearts and glittering Kai. Universe 4's tiny fighters hide and wait to surprise. Universe 3's robots adapt and analyze. Toppo and Jiren hang back at first, watching. Those outsiders cluster around their shield, Toppo notes. They are a unit, not solo heroes. Jiren's eyes open a fraction. They stand together, he says. We will break them together. Steve ducks a blast, bashes a Universe 3 robot off the platform, and shouts orders. Thor, clear the air above us, he calls. Nat, watch our backs. Spidey, help the small guy with the third eye. Tien, struggling against a strange multi-armed fighter, looks up as a webline suddenly yanks his foe's leg. Thanks, Tien calls. Any time, Peter yells. Bulma watches from the stands, heart pounding. Come on, she whispers. Hold the line. Beerus tries to act bored, but his tail flicks with every close call. On Universe 11's platform, Toppo lifts off. It is time, he says. We must see what these Avengers stand for. He flies towards Steve, cape billowing, aura blazing with justice. Captain America of another universe, Toppo calls. I am Toppo, warrior of justice from Universe 11. Face me. Steve turns as Toppo lands with a quake in front of him. Around them, fighters sense the focus and back away, giving them space. Steve raises his shield. You fight for justice, he says. So do I. Toppo nods. But our justice is not the same, he says. You fight under no god, no true order. You refuse to submit to law, even when it would restrain your power. That makes you dangerous. Steve sets his feet. I fight for people, not for systems that forget them, he says. Sometimes law protects them. Sometimes it hurts them. When it hurts, I stand against it. Toppo thrusts out a hand. Justice flash, he cries, firing a beam of Kai. Steve blocks with his shield. The beam shoves him back, but he holds. He charges in, trading blows with Toppo. Each punch Steve throws is like a hammer on a mountain, but Toppo takes them with grunts. Each hit from Toppo sends pain through Steve's bones. You are strong, Toppo says, but you do not accept responsibility. Gods keep order because mortals fail. We are needed. Steve slides under a swing, rams his shield into Toppo's side, and speaks through clenched teeth. Every time someone says only gods can be trusted, they end up using people like tools, he says. I've seen it with my own government, with alien warlords, with men who think they know best. I won't bow to that again. Toppo's aura flares. Then in this arena, you stand against justice itself, he says, and justice will throw you out. Their clash grows more intense. Nearby, Thor finds himself face to face with Universe 6's Hit. Hit's eyes are cool. You are loud, Hit says. Lightning, heavy steps. You bend time with your weapon. Interesting. Thor raises Stormbreaker. And you are quiet, he says. Silent killer. I have known your kind. Hit smirks the smallest amount. You have not known my kind, he says. I skip time. He vanishes. Thor feels a sharp blow in his side, as if from nowhere. He staggers, wind knocked out of him. Hit appears behind him, hands in pockets. I moved us a fraction of a second, Hit says. You did not exist in that slice. I did. You cannot guard what you cannot sense. Thor wipes blood from his lip, grinning. You play with moments, he says. I know someone who did that. He remembers Thanos twisting time, Vision dying twice, the helplessness that followed. I have had enough of time telling me what I cannot do, Thor growls. Hit flickers, attacks again. This time, when he reappears mid-strike, storm energy surges. Thor, instead of trying to follow Hit with his eyes, calls lightning into the space where his instincts feel wrong. Lightning explodes around him in a full sphere. Hit, half a second out of sync, is forced into the open by the flood of energy. He reappears, eyes wide, cloak smoking. Thor swings Stormbreaker in a heavy arc, aiming not at Hit's body, but at the ground. The shockwave lifts both of them, but Thor's Asgardian strength lets him ride the blast. Hit skids dangerously near the edge, but digs in, stopping short. He straightens. Impressive, Hit says. You cannot see my time skip, but you filled the space with danger. Clever. Thor points the axe at him. You twist seconds, Thor says. I summon storms. Time storm. Both are parts of the same sky. I will not be ruled by either. They continue their duel, each learning the other's timing. Elsewhere, Hulk and Broly draw attention like moving disasters. Hulk smashes several Universe 10 fighters out of the ring without really noticing. Broly, barely in control, throws blasts that carve deep holes in the arena. "Friend, less big blasts," Goku calls, dodging one. "Save it for the strong guys." Broly pants, eyes glowing. "Strong," he mutters. "More strong." Frieza watches Broly and Hulk with narrowed eyes. These beasts could break Jiren's guard with one lucky hit, he thinks. Very useful, very dangerous. He turns his gaze to Tony. And that man, Frieza thinks. His energy feels different, not ki, not magic, a machine heart. If I take it, perhaps I can step beyond even these gods. As the battle rages, the crack above Universe 7 pulses. In the stands, Whis feels a tug in his staff. He leans toward Beerus. Every high-power clash boosts the instability, Whis says. The world of void dampens energy, but the foreign link still spikes. Beerus growls. If the arena itself tears, Zeno will blame all of us, he says. And he will erase first, ask no questions later. On the field, Tony hovers, firing repulsor blasts at incoming fighters, trying to conserve energy. His HUD flickers. "Warning," Friday says. "Multiversal resonance spike detected. Anchor bond stressing reactor." Tony grits his teeth. "Great timing," he mutters. A group of Universe 3's robot fighters close in, led by a tall metal figure with 4 arms. "We have analyzed your fighting patterns," the robot intones. "Your artificial energy is predictable. We will drain and convert it." They fire, beams that latch onto his armor, siphoning power. Tony feels his suit slow. "Guys," he calls, "could use a hand." Black Widow appears behind one robot, planting explosive discs on its joints. T'Challa dives in, slicing at energy cords with vibranium claws. But the robots keep coming. "Your power is food," they say. "We will eat and grow." Tony's chest burns. If his reactor drains too far, the anchor bond might flicker. The crack could spike, or worse. "Friday," he says. "Release internal limiters. Give me full output for 10 seconds. Doing so will spike the anchor," Friday warns. "We're out of safe choices," Tony snaps. "Do it." Energy floods his suit. Repulsors flare brighter than ever in this world. He fires a wide beam, blasting the robots back. Their siphons overload and explode, sending them flying off the arena. But the cost hits at once. The crack above howls with light. A wave of unseen force slams across the world of void. Everyone staggers. Zeno's eyes widen. "Ooh," President Zeno says. "Big boom." The Grand Priest's staff glows, stabilizing the arena. In that split second of distraction, a Universe 4 fighter, tiny and invisible, lunges at Tony's back. Piccolo senses it at the last moment. "Tony," he shouts, stretching his arms. He grabs Tony and yanks him aside. The invisible fighter overshoots and tumblingly falls off the edge. Tony and Piccolo roll near a crack in the floor. "You okay?" Piccolo asks. Tony's breathing is rough. "Define okay," he pants. "I made a move," the multiverse screamed. Above them, the crack in Universe 7 glows brighter for several heartbeats, then dims again. Wise feels the strain. If he pushes that again, the link may tear open, Whis thinks. We will have no arena, only ruin. Power scaling. Interlude Taku will come later, but this clash already shows Tony what it means to push. Up to now, the tournament has been a wild test of tactics and strength. Now the anchor bond turns every big move into a risk, not just for fighters, but for the fabric of reality. Hours pass in the world of void. Fighters fall. Universes lose members. Universe 9 is erased first, its last warriors knocked out, its God and Kai pleading before vanishing in white light. The Avengers watch in shock as a whole platform of beings turns to dust. Xeno, Gohan whispers. Steve feels bile in his throat. They were our enemies, he thinks. They tried to kill us, but no one deserves that. This isn't justice. It's slaughter dressed as sport. He looks up at Xeno, who claps, amused. We're helping this, Steve thinks. We're part of the show. Something cracks inside him that no beam can touch. He fights harder, but a new line draws itself in his mind. We win this, he vows. Then we change it. Or we walk away, even if they threaten us. I will not be a soldier for this. Universe 7 remains strong, but the field narrows. Universe 2 falls next. Universe 10 goes after. Soon only a few universes remain. 7, 6, and 11. The most dangerous fighters close in on each other. Goku steps up to Jiren. Thor and Vegeta stand nearby, watching. Jiren, Goku says, grinning. I wanted to fight you again. Jiren opens his eyes fully now. You seek strength for its own sake, Jiren says. That is not justice. That is selfish. Goku laughs. I fight to protect my friends, he says. Getting stronger is how I do that. You can call it selfish. I call it training. Jiren's aura flares. This universe plays games with lives, Jiren says. I fight to end chaos, not to enjoy it. He glances briefly at Steve and Tony. These foreigners are another form of chaos, he thinks. They must be measured, and if they tilt the balance, they must be removed. He and Goku clash, fists making shockwaves. Vegeta watches, fists clenched. Don't you dare lose, Kakarot, he mutters. Thor watches too, eyes shining. I have known few warriors like this, Thor thinks. If I must fall for one, let it be for this fight. The arena is now a smaller stage, cracked and jagged. The convergence event has truly begun. All power, all rules, all costs, drawn toward one point in time and space. At the edge of the stands, the crack above Universe 7 pulses in rhythm with the blows below. Up to now, the world has fractured around the Avengers. Gods and universes have chosen to use, fear, or hate them. And the tournament has turned from test to executioner. Now they stand on the edge of a final rush, where every choice will shape how reality settles. The rubble of the arena shifts under Steve's boots. Dust hangs in the air like fog. Only a handful of fighters remain on the stage now. From Universe 7, Goku, Vegeta, Gohan, Frieza, Android 17, Piccolo, and the Avengers. From Universe 6, Kale and Caulifla, battered but fierce. From Universe 11, Jiren, Toppo, and Dispo, the fast rabbit-like warrior. Dead universes are gone, their platforms empty. Up to now, every move has been about survival inside the game. Now the Avengers must shape an operation that can both win the fight and set up a chance to change the rules and close the crack. Universe 7 pulls back to a broken section of arena to plan. The Avengers and Z fighters form a ring. Goku pants, grinning despite bruises. That Jiren is strong, he says. Way stronger than before. I need more power. Vegeta snorts. You always need more power, he says. This time, we need a plan, not just brute force. Android 17 looks at the remaining enemies. Universe 11 still has their 3 strongest, he says, and they have barely used their full power. They're conserving energy, waiting for us to wear down. Piccolo nods. Universe 6 has 2 Saiyans left, he says. Kale and Caulifla. They will fight anyone, friend or foe, if they think it makes them stronger. Tony projects a hologram of the arena from his palm. His reactor flickers, but the low power mode holds. Here's our situation, Tony says. We're clustered here. Universe 11 is here. Universe 6 is here. Crack resonance is rising every time someone goes all out. The Grand Priest dampeners are holding, but they're not perfect. Bruce leans over the hologram. If that crack spikes during a big clash, the whole arena could flicker, Bruce says. Zeno might panic. We don't know what he'd erase first. Steve looks at the map. We need to control who fights who, he says. We know our strengths. We know theirs. We use that. He points. Goku, Vegeta, you focus on Jiren, Steve says. He's the biggest threat. Thor, you back them up when they need it. Hulk, you handle Kale and Broly. Broly is out, Piccolo cuts in. He lost control. We knocked him out of the ring earlier. It was him or the arena. Hulk frowns. Broly was strong, Hulk says. Hulk liked him. Steve nods once. Then Hulk takes Kale and Cauliflower if they rush us, he says. Your rage matches their energy. He looks at T'Challa. Black Panther, you and Android 17 control the field, Steve says. You're both quick and smart. Push weaker fighters toward the edge. Save energy. T'Challa nods. Understood, he says. Steve turns to Natasha. Nat, you do what you always do, he says. Find the unexpected angle. If someone plans a dirty move, you stop it. Natasha nods, glancing briefly at Frieza. Steve looks at Peter. Spidey, you support whoever needs it, he says. You see someone about to fall, shoot a web. You see a blind spot, call it out. You don't have to be the strongest. You just have to be where you're needed. Peter swallows, then nods. Got it, he says. Friendly neighborhood, multiversal guy. Tony zooms out the hologram. We also have one more goal, Tony says. We need to end this with as few people erased as possible. That means ring-outs, not deaths. And if we win, we need a clear shot to talk to Zeno. Gohan raises an eyebrow. Talk to Zeno, he says. Like you talk to a world-ending bomb. Yeah, Tony says. With respect and a lot of data. Piccolo grunts. If you plan to change Zeno's mind, you will need more than numbers, he says. You will need a symbol. A move that shows him a new way to play. Steve nods slowly. We give him a story, Steve says. About strength used to save enemies too, not just friends. Goku beams. That sounds cool, he says. I like saving enemies. Vegeta rolls his eyes, but there is a small smile. Power scaling interlude. 2. In Weiss's quiet log, he notes that after all their training and battles, the Avengers now stand at a level where they can match high-tier mortal fighters, but still fall short of gods and the top few warriors like Jiren and Goku. Tony's armor operates at half power in the arena. Thor's lightning and Hulk's rage can shake the ring, but at the risk of spiking the crack, Steve's shield and T'Challa's suit can deflect most mortal blows, but not direct godly hits. And if any of them push past their limits, Tony unleashing full reactor output, Thor calling the full might of the storm, Hulk losing total control. The strain on the anchor bond could tear the multiversal wound wider, forcing Zeno's hand in ways no one can predict. Wise watches the group and smiles. They have learned, he thinks, not just to hit harder, but to think wider. That may be what saves them. They move out. The operation begins. Phase 1. Control the field. Android 17 and Black Panther dart across the arena, working together without words. A Universe 3 robot charges T'Challa from behind. He sidesteps, the robot strike hitting 17 instead, whose barrier flares. Your durability is impressive, 17 says. Your timing as well, T'Challa replies. They use pushes, small blasts, and grabs to guide mid-level fighters toward cracks and edges. Krillin, Tien, and Master Roshi assist where they can, despite their lower power. Natasha darts through shadows watching. She spots Universe 4's tiny fighters trying to sneak up on a tired Roshi. She flips in, kicks one invisible foe into the light, and slams her batons into his pressure points. "Sorry," she says as he falls off the ring. "Wrong old man." Roshi pulls his sunglasses down, impressed. "Your martial arts are elegant," he says. "You could be a fine student." "Already did the secret agent school," Nat says, half smiling. On another section, Hulk roars at Kale and Cauliflower. Cauliflower laughs. "You're big," she says. "I like big. Let's see if you can handle a super saiyan." Kale trembles beside her. "Cauliflower." "I'm scared," Kale whispers. Cauliflower slaps her shoulder. "Don't be," she says. "We're the strongest, especially with you." Kale gulps, then her eyes change. Green energy floods out. She becomes the berserker again. "Hulk likes Green Girl," Hulk says. They slam into each other, two forces of raw will. Each punch they share shakes what is left of the arena under them. Gohan and Piccolo hover nearby, ready to intervene if they threaten to break the ring itself. Phase 2. Isolate Universe 11. Goku, Vegeta, Thor and Steve move toward Jiren, Toppo and Dispo. Dispo darts in first, speed almost invisible. He aims for Tony's back, seeing the armor as weak now. Spider-Man's spider sense screams again. He flips up, webs Dispo's ears together mid-run. "Sorry," Peter says. "You're too fast." Dispo trips, skids, catches himself, and snarls. "You little..." A ki blast from Gohan sends him staggering. "We told you, watch your back," Gohan says. Dispo bares his teeth. "You think tricks and teamwork beat pure speed," he says. "That's exactly what we think," Peter says. They begin a ice dance. Dispo using speed, Peter using webs and Gohan's ki to shape his path, turning his own momentum into a trap. Near the center, Goku and Vegeta stand before Jiren. Thor lands beside them, Stormbreaker humming. Jiren studies the three of them. "You would stand together against one," Jiren says. "You believe numbers can bridge gaps." Goku grins. "Yeah," he says. "We do." Vegeta smirks. "And we believe in our pride," he says. Thor lifts his axe. "And in our oaths," he adds. Jiren closes his eyes. "Then come," he says. "I will show you the gap between your beliefs and reality." They charge in. Goku goes Ultra Instinct, sign, body moving on its own. Vegeta taps into his evolved blue form. Thor summons a storm that fills the sky above the arena. Jiren meets them with a calm, crushing power. His punches bend space around them. Every time they think they land a hit, he has already moved, his Kai so dense it acts like armor. Wise watches fascinated. Jiren's power is built on absolute control, Whis says. He trusts nothing but his own strength. No gods, no systems, only himself. Beerus scowls. "I do not like how much I understand him," he mutters. Below, Steve continues his duel with Toppo. They have moved closer to the arena's edge, both panting. Toppo wipes blood from his chin. "You fight with conviction, Captain," Toppo says. "But you refuse to accept that some must judge, some must rule. Without higher law, only chaos remains." Steve shakes his head. "I've seen higher law used to excuse violence," he says. "Accords that control heroes while ignoring villains. Civil wars. Lies told in the name of order." He steps in, rams his shield into Toppo's chest, then hooks his leg, trying to push him over the edge. Toppo slides, then digs his boots in. "You mistake corruption for justice," Toppo says. "It is because some follow false laws that true justice must be strong, unbending, absolute." He raises his hand. "God of destruction." "Toppo," Belmod whispers from the stands, eager. Destruction energy flickers around Toppo's hand, purple and dangerous. He stops. He looks at Zeno, at the Grand Priest, at Jiren. He lowers his hand. In this tournament, I cannot become a god, Topo says. Zeno wants a show, not a lesson. Very well. I will beat you as a mortal. Steve breathes easier. Thank you, he says. Topo shakes his head. Do not thank me, he says. Thank the rules. They bind me as they bind you. They slam into each other again. Their fight is not as flashy as Goku versus Jiren, but it is pure and honest. Fist against shield, code against code. Natasha watches from a distance. This man believes in something as hard as Steve does, she thinks. They're enemies by circumstance, not by heart. That matters. She tucks the thought away. It may matter more later. Phase 3. Expose the twist. The twist comes from Frieza. Of course. As the battle wears on, Frieza drifts near the edge of the arena, apparently seeking easy prey. In truth, his eyes are on Tony. The Earth hero hovers low now, suit scorched. His reactor glows dim. You're almost out of power, Frieza says, appearing behind him. What a pity. Tony twists. Not today, discount space lizard, he says. Frieza smiles. The way your energy tugs at space, Frieza says. It is beautiful. I can feel the link. To your broken device. To your dying crack. Have you thought of what would happen if someone stronger took it? Tony's stomach drops. You can sense the anchor, he realizes. Frieza raises a finger. If I poured my golden key into your little heart, Frieza says. What then? Would we break the universes? Or would we step above them, together? Natasha, watching, moves. She hears enough. Frieza plans to hijack Tony, she thinks. That's the twist. She rushes in, but Frieza is faster. He snaps a halo of psychic force around Tony's neck, holding him in place. Stop, Frieza says. One little move, and I snap this metal shell like an egg. Tony feels pressure on his suit joints. Guys, he said, I could use more backup. Android 17 appears beside Nat. I've got barriers, 17 says, but if Frieza pours his energy into Stark, the crack will surge. Piccolo lands on the other side. We cannot let him do it, Piccolo says, even if it means knocking them both off the ring. Natasha's jaw clenches. We knock Tony out. Our universe loses a major asset, she says. We let Frieza play. We risk everyone. From across the arena, Goku, in the middle of his clash with Jiren, senses the spike of Frieza's ki. He glances that way. Jiren takes the tiny opening. He lands a crushing punch to Goku's chest, sending him flying into rubble. Do not look away, Jiren says. Your distractions are your weakness. Goku coughs, blood on his lip. Maybe, he says, but I can't ignore my friends. He pushes himself up, aura flaring again. In the stands, the Grand Priest watches Frieza's little move with interest. Curious, he thinks. If the foreign linkage overloads now, this tournament may end in a way even I cannot predict. Zeno leans forward. What's happening? Zeno asks. Golden Guy is doing something sneaky. On the ring, Frieza tightens his hold. Choose, Anthony Stark, Frieza says softly. Let me pour my energy into your heart, and we may rewrite the rules. Or resist, and perhaps I merely crush you and remove a piece from the board. Tony's mind races. If Frieza forces energy into his reactor, the anchor will flare. The crack could tear. The Grand Priest would take it as interference. Zeno might erase Universe 7 and Earth on the spot. I've been here before, Tony thinks. A madman with a gauntlet. A choice between compromising and dying. I chose to fight then. I choose the same, now. He shuts down his thrusters. His suit goes limp. He lets himself fall. Frieza blinks. What? Tony's weight drags them both toward a crack in the arena floor. Natasha leaps. She fires Widow's bites at Frieza, shocking him enough to break his focus. Android 17 throws up a barrier under Tony and Frieza, redirecting their fall toward the center of the ring instead of the edge. They crash hard. Frieza snarls, "You dare!" Hulk arrives like a green comet, slamming a fist down between them, cracking the ground. "Hulk smash golden bug," Hulk says. Frieza flips back, growling. "This is not over," Frieza hisses. "I will find a way to break this toy." He retreats for now, choosing to save his strength. Tony lies on the cracked floor, armor sparking. Bruce rushes over, panting. "You okay?" Bruce asks. Tony coughs. "Define okay," he says, "but thanks for the assist." Natasha looks at Bruce. "We just learned something," she said. "Frieza can feel the anchor. That means others might. The Grand Priest. Maybe even Zeno." Bruce nods grimly. "Our window to use that bond is shrinking," he says. "When this is over, they will not let it exist." Up to now, the operation has been about controlling the field inside the rules. Now, a hidden threat has tried to use the anchor itself, revealing that their forbidden card is visible to more players than they thought. The battle rushes toward a breaking point. Universe 6 finally falls when Kale and Caulifla, despite their power, are thrown out during a clash that nearly shatters the arena. They laugh and promise to get stronger as they vanish in erasure light. Gohan and Piccolo fall next, protecting others from ambushes. Krillin, Tien, and Roshi had gone earlier. Universe 7 is down to Goku, Vegeta, Android 17, Frieza, and the Avengers. Universe 11 keeps Jiren, Toppo, and Dispo. The arena is almost gone. Only jagged platforms remain. The Grand Priest raises his staff. A time limit approaches, he announces. The tournament nears its end. Fighters, make your final moves. Zeno claps. "This is exciting," he says. "Soon we see who wins." The Convergence event is fully active now. Every action feeds into one outcome, one final choice. Steve looks around at his tired team, at Goku standing again, at Vegeta's bruises, at Thor's bleeding arm, at Tony's dim armor, at Hulk's raw knuckles, at Peter's torn mask. We're almost out of pieces, Steve thinks, and Jiren is still fresh. He makes a decision. "Thor," he calls, "go help Goku and Vegeta with Jiren. Hulk, hammer Toppo. Panther, 17, finish Dispo. Nat, Spidey, Tony, with me." Tony blinks. "Where are we going?" Tony asks. Steve looks up at the stands, at Zeno and the Grand Priest, and at the flickering crack visible through the void. "We're going where the rules are," Steve says. "We're going to make sure that when this ends, someone hears what we have to say." Natasha nods. "A heist in the middle of a cosmic battle," she says. "Feels like old times." Peter gulps. "We're going to talk to the multiverse's scariest child," he says. "Cool, cool, cool, cool." Tony pulls himself to his feet. "Then let's not die in the hallway," he says. They move as the last phase of the operation begins, fighting to win on the ring and climbing toward an impossible conversation that might rewrite what victory even means. Up to now, the Avengers and Universe 7 have fought through the tournament of power, watched whole universes erased, stopped Frieza from hijacking the reality anchor, and set a quiet plan. Win first, then fight to save everyone and close the crack for good. The arena is a ruin. Jagged islands of stone float in the endless white of the world of void. Cracks glow in the floor where Ki blast tore through. Dust hangs in the air, lit by the strange soft light from nowhere. The timer runs low. Goku feels it in his bones. Wise feels it in the ticking of his staff. Tony feels it in the slow pulse of his reactor and the tight ache in his chest. Only these fighters remain. From Universe 7, Goku, Vegeta, Android 17, Frieza, and the Avengers. From Universe 11, Jiren, Toppo, and Dispo. The convergence event is here. This is the moment everything squeezes into one choice. Dispo makes his move first. The rabbit-like warrior grins, twitching. "If we take out your fast ones, you can't react," he says. "I'll start with the spider and the king." He vanishes in a violet blur. To Dispo, the world slows. He runs around Peter and T'Challa in a spinning line, ki building in his legs. To Peter, it feels like the air itself hisses. Spider-Sense screams. He throws out webs in every direction. 17 now, Peter yells. Android 17 stands at the edge of their platform, hands up. He has been waiting. He flares his barrier, not as a bubble, but as a thin ring around the edge of their stone. When Dispo's fast steps hit that ring, his path bends. He skids, momentum twisted, and rockets straight toward T'Challa. This time it is not a surprise. T'Challa stands ready, suit glowing purple with stored charge. He watches the blur approach. At this speed, I have one shot, he thinks. Dispo appears in front of him, fist raised. "Too slow," Dispo shouts. T'Challa steps just aside, grabs Dispo's arm, and uses his speed against him, spinning with the pull. He releases all the stored kinetic energy from his suit in one precise burst. Not as a blow, but as a redirect. Dispo's own speed becomes a throw. He flies, howling, over the broken edge and into the void. "Ring out," the Grand Priest announces. Universe 11's Dispo is eliminated. Toppo growls. Jiren opens his eyes a little wider. Peter lands beside T'Challa, breathing hard. "That was insane," Peter says. "You just..." "Judo flipped a light-speed rabbit." T'Challa nods once. "Speed without wisdom is only a blade without a hand," he says quietly. Android 17 lowers his barrier and glances at them. "Nice work," he says. "Keep your webs ready. We'll need more tricks." On another broken platform, Hulk and Toppo slug it out. Hulk is tired, muscles screaming, but rage keeps him standing. Toppo's body is bruised, but his eyes still burn with purpose. "You fight like a storm," Toppo says, blocking a punch that cracks the rock under his feet. "Wild, uncontrolled. Your power should be guided. That is the role of justice." Hulk snarls. "Hulk not toy," Hulk says. "Hulk not tool. Hulk smash anyone who tries." He slams his fists together, sending a shockwave that knocks Toppo back. Toppo plants his feet, aura flaring. He glances up at Jiren and then at Zeno. "I must not fail," Toppo thinks. "If we lose, our universe dies. Justice dies." He raises his hand. Destruction energy flickers again. Purple sparks dance over his palm, heavy and wrong. Belmod leans forward, eager. "Do it, Toppo," Belmod whispers. "Become a god of destruction in all but title. Show them true power." Toppo hesitates. He remembers Steve's words. He remembers Steve's eyes, full of stubborn care for people, not systems. If I use this power, I become what he fears, Toppo thinks. A weapon for higher will. He clenches his fist. The purple energy shrinks, then fades. He lets it go. In that moment of inner choice, Hulk takes his chance. He grabs Toppo around the waist and heaves. "Roar!" Hulk yells. He suplexes Toppo over his head, slamming him down near the edge. The stone cracks. Toppo scrambles, fingers digging into the floor. Hulk stomps, breaking the stone under Toppo's grip. Toppo slides, then falls off the arena. "Ring out. Universe 11's Toppo is eliminated," the Grand Priest says. Belmod gasps. In choosing not to use destruction, Toppo has chosen his own path. Whis notes softly. Justice that bows to no god. Steve, watching from another platform, sees Toppo vanish. He knows that choice cost Universe 11. He respects it. Now only Jiren remains for Universe 11. Goku, Vegeta, Thor, and from a distance Steve, move to face him. Jiren steps onto the center of what is left of the arena. White aura flickers around him, dense and bright. All of your talk, Jiren says, about justice, about freedom, about systems and gods. In the end, only strength decides who survives. Goku wipes blood from his mouth. Maybe, he says, but we're going to show you what strength looks like when it fights for others, not just itself. Vegeta cracks his neck. And for pride, he adds. Thor lifts Stormbreaker, lightning crackling. And for the realms, he says, for every world tied to this madness. They rush him. Goku pushes into Ultra Instinct, sign again. His hair glows silver at the tips. His body moves on its own, slipping past Jiren's blows. Vegeta unleashes his evolved blue form, aura sharp and fierce. Thor calls lightning from the empty sky, storm clouds forming even in the void. Jiren meets all of it. He blocks Goku's fists with single, precise strikes. He catches Thor's axe on his forearm, muscles bulging. He takes Vegeta's kicks and answers with crushing counters. Each clash sends a wave through the arena. Above, the crack over Universe 7 pulses in time. In the stands, Whis and the Grand Priest feel it. The anchor bond is resonating with this fight, Whis says. Tony's earlier surge left it sensitive. Each heavy impact shakes the link. The Grand Priest frowns. If the bond tears here, the world of void may feel it, he thinks. We cannot allow that. Zeno just laughs and claps. Big punches, Zeno says. So shiny. Tony hovers near the edge of one platform, watching the clash. His suit is dim. His HUD flickers. Reactor output at 30%, Friday says. Arena dampener still at 50%. You are running on fumes, boss. Tony watches Jiren slam a fist into Goku's gut, sending him flying. He watches Vegeta take a blow to protect Goku, yelling something only Kakarot can hear. He watches Thor crash to one knee, one arm hanging limp, but still forcing himself up. Every time we pushed too hard, we shook the crack, Tony thinks. If I throw full power now, we might win this fight and lose everything else. He closes his eyes for a second. I have to let them carry the heavy hits, he decides. For once, Iron Man is not the biggest gun. I'm support. He looks down at his glowing chest. Save the last blast for after, he thinks. For the weld. Goku staggers, aura fading. Ultra Instinct slips. His silver glow flickers, then goes out. He falls to one knee. Kakarot, Vegeta shouts. Jiren steps forward. You have reached your limit, Jiren says. This is where strength ends. Goku looks up, teeth gritted. I'm not done yet, he says. I still have... His body gives out. He drops, nearly falling off the platform. At the last second, a purple beam of energy shields him. Android 17 jumps in front, barrier up. I'll cover him, 17 says. You two hit hard. Vegeta snarls. You damn robot, he says. Always in the way. But his eyes are grateful. Thor steps to Vegeta's side. Then we two shall strike, Thor says. Prince and God together. They charge Jiren. Vegeta roars, pouring everything into his attacks, even as his body breaks. Thor swings Stormbreaker with his one good arm, lightning wrapped around the axe. Jiren meets them both. He punches Thor in the chest, cracking armor and flesh. He knees Vegeta in the ribs, sending blood flying. They still do not stop. On another fragment, Steve, Nat, Peter, and Tony climb broken pillars toward a higher vantage point, as far as the arena allows. They cannot leave the ring, but they can stand where they can be seen. Steve lifts, his shield catching the strange light. He meets Zeno's eyes. For a brief second, the king of all universes looks right at him. Steve knows he cannot speak loud enough to be heard here. He knows the rules say nothing about mortal speeches. But Zeno understands feelings. He understands shows. Then we show him, Steve thinks. We show him what we stand for in the way he understands. A fight and a choice. Jiren powers up. His aura changes from white to blazing red. The air trembles. He knocks Thor aside with one strike that sends the god rolling to the edge, barely catching himself with Stormbreaker. He slams Vegeta down, pinning him with a foot. "Your pride is broken," Jiren says. Vegeta coughs. He thinks of Bulma, of Trunks, of his promise to surpass Goku, of his vow to never surrender his pride again. "Pride is not about never falling," Vegeta gasps. "It's about standing up. When you do." He erupts in a final blue burst, shoving Jiren's foot away. Then his power fades at once. He collapses, body spent. He slides toward the edge. Goku, barely waking, reaches out. He catches Vegeta's hand, muscles screaming. Vegeta looks at him. "Don't you dare let this be for nothing, Kakarot," he mutters. Then his fingers slip. He falls off the ring. Ring out. Universe 7's Vegeta is eliminated, the Grand Priest says. Bulma screams his name from the stands, tears in her eyes. Goku pants. "I won't," he whispers. "I won't waste it." Now it is Jiren versus Goku, Android 17, Thor, the Avengers, and Frieza. Frieza watches from a rock, golden aura low. He waits to see where the wind blows. Android 17 looks at Steve. "You wanted a symbol," 17 says. "You wanted to show Zeno something new." Steve nods. "Then we give him a fight where strong people protect enemies too," Steve says. "We show him mercy as part of strength." 17 looks skeptical. "This is a battle royale, not a peace march," he says. Steve meets his eyes. "You blew yourself up once to save us," Steve says. "That was mercy. That was strength." 17 is quiet. He remembers. He nods. "Fine," he says. "Let's make this ending worth the restart." The last rush begins. Goku stands again, shaking. He cannot reach full Ultra Instinct now, but something in him remembers that feeling. He moves lighter, more sure. Android 17 sets barriers at key points, shaping the battlefield. Thor rises, bloodied, but with storms still in his heart. Tony hovers low, ready with small pushes instead of huge blasts. Steve, Natasha, T'Challa, Hulk, and Peter spread out, ready to support. Jiren sees them all. "You think numbers can make up for weakness," Jiren says. "Allies are a chain that breaks." Steve calls back. "Where I come from, allies are the chain that holds when everything else breaks," he says. "Let's see which chain holds longer." They attack. Goku distracts Jiren with fast, sharp strikes. Jiren answers with bone-shaking counters. Each time Jiren winds up for a big blow, a barrier from 17 blocks or bends it. Thor throws Stormbreaker, lightning-tipped, not at Jiren's body, but at the ground behind him. The impact lifts rocks, shifting Jiren's footing. T'Challa dashes in, slamming his kinetic charge into Jiren's back, just enough to knock him into Goku's next punch. Hulk hurls a chunk of arena like a boulder. Jiren punches it to dust, but the dust blinds him for a second. Peter uses that second to web Jiren's ankles, just enough to slow him. Steve appears at Jiren's flank, shield up. He does not try to hurt Jiren. He uses the shield to deflect Jiren's next punch, sending some of the force sideways, saving Goku from a direct hit. Every move is precise. They are not as strong as Jiren alone, but together, with ki, tech, and human grit, they start to push him back. With smiles. "This is what mortals can do when they trust each other," he says. "Even the gods forget this sometimes." Beerus grunts. hate how right you are, he mutters. The time limit ticks down. Goku's legs shake. Thor's breath comes rough. 17's ki drains with each barrier. Jiren roars, aura flaring. Enough, Jiren shouts. I will not lose to people who cling to each other because they are too afraid to stand alone. He explodes in power. His energy blast tears through 3 of 17's barriers at once, slams into Goku's chest and sends him flying backward. Goku skids to the very edge of the floor. He dangles, fingers scraping stone. Peter fires a web, catching Goku's wrist, straining. I've got you, Peter yells. Jiren turns, rage focused. He fires another blast, this one aimed at Peter's arm. If it hits, Peter will lose his grip. Goku will fall. There is no time for a barrier. Steve runs. He does not think. He dives between the blast and Peter. The beam hits his shield. The impact is like a mountain on fire. Steve's muscles scream. His feet dig grooves in the stone. Behind him, Peter holds the web with both hands, teeth clenched. Cap, Peter cries. Steve roars and pushes forward. I can do this all day, he growls, the old words rising without thought. The blast splits around his shield, spraying harmlessly into the void. Goku pulls himself up with Peter's help. He stands again. Jiren stares. He has seen great power. He has seen gods. He has seen selfishness and fear. He has rarely seen someone stand in front of death just to protect another without any chance of winning for themselves. His aura flickers. What are you? Jiren asks softly. Steve lowers the shield, chest heaving. Just a kid from Brooklyn, Steve says, and a man who is messed up enough to know what matters now. Something shifts in the stands. Zeno leans forward. Cool, Zeno says. Shield guy saved punching guy and spider guy. They all help each other. Grand Priest watches, eyes narrow. They are turning the final battle into a story of shared strength, he thinks. Not simple victory. This will shape the wish. Time almost runs out. The final plan forms in a glance between Goku, 17, and Steve. Android 17 steps forward. I'll use what I have left, he says. Get Jiren near the edge. I'll do the rest. Steve nods. Everyone, push him that way, Steve calls. Thor, Hulk, T'Challa, Peter, Natasha, and Goku all move in and hit Jiren from different sides, herding him toward a jagged ledge. Frieza, seeing the chance, finally joins in. He blasts Jiren's legs from behind. Don't misunderstand, Frieza says. I'm only helping because I refuse to be erased by that over-muscled fool. Jiren struggles, fighting back with blows that crack armor and bone, but the united push works. He ends up near the broken edge, feet sliding on loose stone. Android 17 appears behind him, hands glowing. You believe strength is only for yourself, 17 says. Let me show you something else. He forms a massive barrier, not as a shield, but as a wall behind Jiren, pressing him forward. Jiren strains against it, muscles bulging. He pushes back, red aura roaring. The barrier cracks. More, 17 thinks. He pours everything into it. His body shakes. Circuits hum. Memories flash. His island, his animals, his family, the erased universes, the Avengers who dropped from another world and fought beside him. If strength only serves me, then there is nothing worth saving, he thinks. I'm not going back to that. He roars. The barrier surges. Goku and Frieza, in a strange mirror of their old enemy bond, lunge together and slam into Jiren's chest. Steve throws his shield, not at Jiren, but at the ground in front of him, bouncing it in a way that knocks Jiren's foot up for half a second. That half second is enough. Jiren loses his balance. The barrier behind him shoves one last time. He falls off the ring. Ring out, the Grand Priest announces. Universe 11's Jiren is eliminated. The arena grows quiet. The timer rings. The Grand Priest raises his staff. Time is up, he says. The tournament of power has ended. The remaining fighters in the ring are... He looks down. On the broken floor, still standing or leaning, are Android 17, Steve, Tony, Thor, Hulk, T'Challa, Natasha, Peter, Goku, and Frieza. But only one thing matters for the rules. The last fighter who did not fall or go out of bounds is Android 17 of Universe 7, the Grand Priest says. Universe 7 wins the tournament of power. Zeno jumps up and down. Universe 7 wins, Zeno shouts. That was awesome. He waves his little hands. Bring out the Super Dragon Balls, Zeno cries. I want a wish. The Super Dragon Balls appear as golden planets in the void. They shine with blinding light. The Super Dragon, Super Shenron, rises, so huge that even gods look like dust beside him. His voice shakes everything. State your wish, Super. Shenron booms. The Grand Priest smiles down at Android 17. As the last fighter, you are the MVP, the Grand Priest says. The wish is yours. 17 stares up at the dragon. He feels every eye on him. Xenos, gods, mortals, and the Avengers. He remembers his own simple dream. Travel the world with his family. He remembers promising his kids a cruise. But he also remembers Universe 9's erasure, Universe 2's tears, Topo's choice, Jiren's lonely anger, and all the faces of universes that no longer exist. Steve steps closer, speaking low so only 17 and those near can hear. You know what we hoped, Steve says. We want everyone back, even the ones who tried to kill us. That's the only way this means something. Tony adds his voice. And we need that crack closed, Tony says. If the bond stays, my world and yours never stop shaking. I can try to fix it by hand, but it will cost lives. Your wish can fix it clean. Goku grins, tired but bright. I always wanted all the universes back, Goku says. Fighting strong guys is only fun if they get to live after. Frieza rolls his eyes. How disgustingly noble, he says. But even I must admit, more universes mean more toys for me later. Android 17 looks at T'Challa. The king nods. In Wakanda, a king protects even those who once stood against him, T'Challa says. Otherwise it is only revenge, not justice. 17 breathes in. He raises his voice. Super Shenron. Android 17 calls. My wish is this. Restore all the universes erased in this tournament and repair all the damage the tournament caused, including the tear between Universe 7 and our friend's world. Let their Earth go home safe and free. Silence. Then Super Shenron's eyes glow. He speaks in a language only gods understand. The Grand Priest smiles. The wish is granted, the Grand Priest says. Light bursts outward. Across reality, erased universes reappear. Universe 9's trio of danger blink on a rocky world, alive and confused. Universe 2's warriors wake in their sparkling cities, hugging each other. Universe 11's Topo and Dispo reappear beside their god, who wipes a tear he would never admit to. Jiren stands alone on a cliff in his own world. He remembers falling. He remembers Steve's shield. He looks at his hands. Strength that protects enemies, he thinks. Is that possible? He closes his eyes and sits to meditate. Above Universe 7, the crack roars with golden light. It shrinks. The broken edges knit together, not with pain, but with warmth. In Capsule Corp's lab, the cracked core of the reality anchor glows bright, then dims. Tony feels his chest grow hot. On the arena, he gasps. Reactor, overloading, Friday says. But in reverse, energy flow is going out, not in. Bulma stands in the stands, eyes wide, as her scanners spike. They're using the anchor as a guide, she says. The wish is pushing the universes back where they belong, using Tony's bond as a map. It's closing the wound and letting his world drift free. Whis smiles. A neat solution, Whis says. Mortal technology used as a stitch in a godly repair. Tony feels something tear inside. Then, ease. The constant low hum he has lived with since building the anchor goes quiet. His armor powers down, not with a crash, but with a soft sigh. He drops to one knee. "Tony," Bruce shouts from the stands. Steve catches him. Tony blinks, chest rising and falling on its own. "How do you feel?" Steve asks. Tony takes a breath. His chest feels light. "Like someone just took a car battery off my heart," Tony says. "In a good way." His HUD flickers and dies. "Friday?" Tony asks. Silence. He laughs once, tired. "Well," he says, "that's going to be a fun rebuild." The light grows around the Avengers. Their bodies start to shimmer. Bulma sees it. "They're being pulled back," she says. "The bond is rewinding." Goku's eyes widen. "Wait," Goku yells, flying to them. He grabs Steve's hand. "You're leaving?" Goku asks. "Already?" Steve nods. "It looks like it," he says. "Wish fixed the crack. This was always the deal." Goku squeezes his hand. "Let's fight again someday," Goku says. "I want a rematch without gods watching." Steve smiles. "I'd like that," he says. "Maybe on a beach, with less erasing." Thor clasps Goku's forearm. "You are a warrior worthy of Valhalla," Thor says, "though I hope you do not visit it soon." Goku laughs. T'Challa bows to T'Challa's new friends. Piccolo, 17, Gohan. "You have my respect," T'Challa says. "If a day comes when you need help from a world of vibranium and stubborn kings, call if you can." Android 17 shrugs. "I just wanted a cruise," he says. "Now I have the whole multiverse back. Guess I can settle for that." Peter looks at Gohan. "I'll miss training with you," Peter says. "You made me feel like less of a freak." Gohan smiles. "You're not a freak," Gohan says. "You're just a hero with weird powers. We have a lot of those here." Natasha nods to Android 18. "You hit hard," Nat says. "If I had you on my old team, we would have finished missions faster." 18 smirks. "If you're ever in the neighborhood again, we'll spar," she says. Hulk and Broly bump fists one last time. "Broly smash good," Hulk says. "Friend, Hulk, strong," Broly says, calmer now. Frieza floats at a distance, arms folded. He watches the Avengers fade. "Farewell, foreign heroes," Frieza thinks. "You have changed the game. I will adapt, as always." Beerus huffs. "Try not to break your own universe when you get back," Beerus calls down. "I am not fixing it twice." Tony looks up at him. "No promises," Tony says. "But I'll aim smaller, maybe." Wise waves his staff. "It was educational," Whis says. "Thank you for the data." The light swallows the Avengers. For a heartbeat, Steve sees everything at once. Universe 7, the world of void, the crack sealed, Xeno smiling, the super dragon dissolving, Earth waiting. Then the light snaps shut. They wake up on the floor of Tony's lab. The air smells like metal and coffee. Monitors show normal Earth star maps. Outside the window, New York sky has no crack. Tony lies on his back, staring at the ceiling. His chest is bare. The arc reactor socket is empty. Bruce kneels over him with a scanner. "Heartbeat normal," Bruce says. "No foreign energy. Anchor core is dead." On a nearby table, the cracked anchor sits like a burned-out light bulb. Steve pushes himself up. "Did we dream that?" Peter asks, mask off, hair wild. The lab doors burst open. Rhodey, Sam Wilson, and others rush in, weapons drawn. "What happened?" Rhodey demands. "Our instruments went crazy, then flat. 1 second you guys were here, next second you weren't." Sam looks at Steve. "You look like you got hit by a truck," Sam says. Steve laughs softly. More like a universe, he says. Tony sits up with Bruce's help. We were gone, Tony says. Dragged into a cosmic battle run by a child god with the worst sense of fun you can imagine. We fought in a tournament that erased universes. We helped bring them back, and we closed the hole we made. Rhodey stares at him. On a scale of 1 to Tony built Ultron, how bad was it? Rhodey asks. Tony thinks. Ultron was a 5, Tony says. This was at least an 8. Bruce nods. But we got a restart, Bruce says. Not just for them, for us too. Sam looks out the window. No weird glowing scars in the sky, he says. I'll take that. Steve stands, joints aching. He looks at the dead anchor. Destroy it? He asks. Tony picks it up. He studies the cracked core. Then he walks to a heavy safe and sets it inside. We keep it, Tony says, as a reminder, not as a weapon. No more multiverse toys. Not unless we want to be dragged back into some god's game. Steve nods. What do we tell the world? Peter asks. Steve looks at him. The truth, Steve says, that we nearly broke everything again by trying to fix it alone. That there are powers out there who see us as pieces on a board, and that we chose instead to stand with strangers and save even our enemies when we had the chance. He takes a deep breath, and we tell them that from now on, if anyone tries to turn life into a game again, we won't play by their rules, he adds. We'll make our own. Tony smirks. Capture swore off cosmic board games, he says. Mark the day. Thor leans against a wall, holding his side. In Asgard, there was a tale of travelers who went to a far realm, fought in a mad god sport, and returned with wisdom instead of treasure, Thor says. We have lived that tale now. Hulk snorts. Hulk got new friend, Hulk says. Green girl. Hulk miss her. Natasha smiles a little. And I learned that even in another universe, there are people stuck in systems they didn't build, she says, and stubborn idiots like us who stand in the middle. T'Challa checks a comm link to Wakanda. My people are safe, T'Challa says, and we have new knowledge, not just about power, but about trust. Peter sits on the floor. I fought in a tournament to save all universes, Peter says. My guidance counselor is never going to believe that. Bruce laughs. That can be our secret, he says. Up to now, they have run from crisis to crisis, reacting to threats. Now they stand in a world that almost fell into a cosmic game and didn't, because they chose to fight both in and against the rules. In Universe 7, life goes on. The crack in the sky is gone. At Capsule Corp, Bulma drinks coffee on the balcony, watching Goku and Vegeta argue over training schedules. She glances at a small device on the table. It glows faintly. Still picking up something, she mutters. Like a memory or an echo. Whis appears beside her. Even when a bridge is gone, the marks on the riverbank remain, Whis says. Your world will remember them. Their world will remember you in its own way. Bulma smiles. Good, she says. If we ever meet again, I want them to know I'm still the smartest person in both universes. Beerus lies on his usual chair, eating noodles. He stares at the calm sky. We could have lost everything, Beerus says, because of some foreign toys and a bored king. Whis nods. We also gained a lesson, Whis says. Mortals from another reality reminded us what strength is for. Beerus huffs. Don't get poetic, he says. It's bad for my image. He closes his eyes. But, yes, he thinks. They were interesting. I hope they don't break their own world before we see them again. On a cliff in Universe 11, Jiren sits alone. Toppo walks up, cape fluttering. You saw what they did, Topo says. Those outsiders, those Avengers. Jaren opens his eyes. I saw mortals from a different reality stand against a god's game, Jaren says. They saved enemies with the same effort they use for friends. Topo nods. Is that not justice? Topo asks. Jaren looks at his fist. For a long time I trusted only power, Jaren says, because power did not betray me. But I see now that power without trust is empty. Strength that stands alone will always be smaller than strength that carries others. He stands. I will train, Jaren says, not just to grow stronger, but to learn that kind of strength. Next time I will not fight only for my own peace. Topo smiles. Universe 11 is safer for that choice, Topo says. In a quiet corner of Universe 7, Android 17 stands on his island. The sun sets. His family laughs behind him, loading a truck for a trip. He watches the waves. Somewhere, out there, is a world that once hung from a crack in his sky. He saved it with a wish. He smiles. I hope you got your restart, 17 says. I got mine. Back on Earth, an ordinary kid in New York looks up at the night sky. He has heard rumors online. Weird glitches in satellites. Stories of heroes gone for seconds that felt like hours. He sees nothing strange now, just stars. But he wears a t-shirt with the Avengers A logo and a cartoon scion with spiky hair. He does not know why that design feels right together. He just likes it. He smiles. Someday I'll join them, he says to himself, whoever them is. He runs home, hope in his chest. In a small file in a divine archive somewhere between universes, a new line of text appears. Foreign warriors from an external reality once fought in the Tournament of Power, stood beside Universe 7's champions, and forced gods and mortals alike to see that strength used to protect all, even enemies, is the only strength worth trusting. Codex note: in Universe 7's hidden records, the Avengers are listed not as gods or invaders, but as extraverse guardians, a rare class of beings whose brief crossing changed the way the multiverse thinks about power, games, and the value of every world.